Hi guys, I've got another process today for a page in my December album, and this one is about the Nutcracker. Shane and I went to see the Royal New Zealand Ballet perform the Nutcracker. I've never been to see the Nutcracker before and it was amazing. Shane was less impressed, bored out of his wits might be a way to describe it, but I thought it was incredible. So I have printed out 6 little photos. 3 of those are ones that I took myself, and 3 I grabbed off the Royal New Zealand Ballet website because photography was not allowed during the performance. I'm adding these to a little 12 2-inch square page protector, and I've got another page protector here. I've added some washi tape to it because it had some funny looking punched holes in it. This is an old page protector, and I am going to add into this page protector this cut file, which is the Nutcracker by Sweet Elsie, and I have backed that using a few papers from the Snow and Cocoa collection. Now this did take me a while to back. I cut a solid back and the outline, glued those together, and then I cut all the little filled in bits individually and stuck them all down. So it did take a little while, but I'm super happy with the results. I'm going to add that into that page protector on the left there, and then this is going to be my right hand page. So I'm going to slip all these little photos in before they go skidding about all over my desk. Now what I want to do with this page protector is I'm just going to trim it down so that it covers up 2 of those squares. I guess it's slightly 4 inches. It's a bit awkward. That's why I just sort of measured it against the back page protector, because you have to add in the amount for the holes in the margin down the side there. So I've just carefully, or not so carefully, measured that with my fingernail, and I've trimmed that down, and I'll use my fuse tool later to fuse that together. Now I wasn't sure how to keep this Nutcracker in place in the pocket, but I actually found this polka dot transparency, and I'm going to use that. One side of the transparency, it hasn't been printed very well, it's all speckly and white, so I'm just carefully trimming this so that it's got the nice clear polka dots on it. Now again, I don't have any measurements, so I'm just holding up my page protector to make sure it's going to be able to fit. I am allowing for the fact that I'm going to need to fuse this page protector shut, so it is slightly shorter than the page protector at the moment. So again, just holding up my page protector while I trim it, and then I have the perfect little piece of transparency to go into my pocket. Now I'm going to glue this Nutcracker down onto the front, but I need a way to cover up the glue on the back. So I went and cut an extra back piece, so this is the solid piece, and it was slightly more difficult than I had anticipated because I didn't keep the original file that I had created this first cut file from. So it is a tiny bit different in size. I had to measure it and take a close enough sort of guess to it. It is reasonably hard to tell, but it is, I'm guessing, like 0.5 millimeter out, somewhere in there. But this way I can glue down the Nutcracker to the front of the transparency and this plain piece to the back, and you won't be able to see any of the glue. So everything's attached securely, but you can't see that. Another option might have been to maybe stitch it on, or I could have stapled it, but this to me seemed to be an easy and clean way of attaching it to the acetate there. Plus it gives me a spot to do my journaling on the back there, so that's what I intend to do later on. I won't make you watch me do that. I'm going to add my journaling onto the back of there. And so all I've got left to do on this side is just to fuse that pocket shut. But when I stuck the acetate in there, I was a bit concerned that I hadn't cut something straight. It looked like it was sitting at a funny angle, but I don't think it actually was. I think it was just my eyes playing tricks on me. So I've grabbed my fuse tool and a metal ruler. I needed a taller one than the actual fuse ruler, so I've just grabbed a normal metal ruler and fused that. And I normally fuse both sides of the page protectors, but this one managed to seal really nicely just with the one pass. So that is my left hand page, and now I can go ahead and work on these little square pockets. I wasn't sure what I was going to put into here. When I bought this die cut pack from Merry Days, I knew it had the Nutcracker in it, and we already had our tickets at that point, and there's also a Nutcracker on this little bauble sticker from the Merry Days chipboard set. So I sort of had thought I was going to use those as what I was going to base my page off, but once I've done this little Nutcracker man here, the colours from the Merry Days ones don't really suit it. They also don't suit the colours in my photos. I hadn't looked at these Merry Days pieces while I was doing the backing of this cut file. I was looking more at the photos, and the photos are more that bluey pink and blue rather than this peachy colour. So I grabbed another bauble, and that was from, I think it's the Fa La La collection. I had that chipboard set. And then I grabbed these die cuts from Brandy Kincaid and Feed Your Craft, because I knew they had the little pink and red candy canes in there, and I thought that would go well. And that's when inspiration struck me, is what about using candy as sort of a theme? So I've got these stickers that have the little candy canes and the gingerbread men from Pebbles line, and I knew I had the die cuts in there as well. So I'd start by pulling out this bauble, but I don't end up using it because there are these glittery candies in there, and there are candy canes, and I figured that that was the way to go. It was sort of suited the theme of the Nutcracker as well. So I pulled out a little gingerbread die cut, and I've got these candy canes. You can see me swap out the bauble there. I am going to keep the one pink bauble at the top though, just because the colours match so perfectly, and there wasn't really any more candy sort of die cuts to fit in there too. So this is sort of the layout of the page. I have to work out how I'm going to keep these little individual pieces in the pockets. I could have stuck them just straight into the pockets and fused it shut, but I decided in the end I would use the offcut that I had cut from that page protector. I'm just going to trim off the fold and then trim that down into just slightly smaller than 2-inch squares. And I'm going to glue all these little pieces onto these page protector scraps and then slip those into the pockets, and that way all the little bits and pieces in the pockets will stay where they are, and they won't move about, and I don't need to worry about fusing the pockets shut then either. So you can see me here, I have stuck one candy down, and the page protector plastic is quite thin, so it was a tiny bit difficult to actually like slide it into the little pockets, but it does work eventually. I decided that this chipboard piece, although I like it, it is way too thick. All the other die cuts in there, of course, are much, much thinner. So I just went about and peeled off some of the chipboard onto the back of it. I probably could have gone even further, but I didn't want to risk ripping it. So I've pulled it down as thin as I can, and then I'm going to glue it to the plastic the same as the other one. Can't use my tape runner on this like ripped apart chipboard, it just sort of peels off. So I added a little bit of multi-matte medium to the back of that, and I will just carefully let that sit there and dry. Now you see me pointing out the back of that bauble. I am going to have to cover that up, and at the time it hadn't really occurred to me that I'm actually going to need to cover up the backs of all of these pieces because they are see-through pockets. I'm going to have to cover the back of it, and I didn't really know how I was going to do that, so you won't see that on this process video, but I will show you at the end how I actually managed to achieve that. So I'm going to be fussing about with these pockets for a little bit as I slip them in and out. I'm also adding some of those little puffy stickers. I really love those puffy stickers. They're really pretty. These Feed Your Craft candy canes, there were 2 different sizes, so I didn't need to worry about that. So I'm adding these 2. The other candy cane was one of the Pebbles ones, and there were 2 in the pack, but I used that for something else, so I only had the 1 left. So I'm going to add one of the little candy cane stickers onto there as well. And then the 2 candies, little peppermint candies I guess, at the top there, I decided to only use one of them because the 2 I would have to overlap, which looks different to the rest of the pockets. I guess what I'm going for here is to try and get a little bit of consistency, even though I'm using different elements in each of the pockets. There you go, I'm on to the next candy cane. You can see that it just takes a little bit of time for me to fuss about with these pockets. So even though the page looks super simple, I guess sometimes it does take a little bit of time to get simple to look perfect. Well, not perfect, but as good as I want it to look anyways. So I am using the same technique as the bottom for the top with the two candies, the die cut one and the puffy sticker, adding that in, and then that is that page all done. So technically that's as much as you're going to see on this process video, but here's what my final pages look like. So I've got my little Nutcracker, and when I flip him over, I've just handwritten some journaling on there. I drew some lines with a grey pen and then added my journaling in. And here's the result of me backing all of these little die cuts. So some of them, like the gingerbread man, I just stuck another gingerbread man on the back, and the same with the puffy stickers. But some of these I did actually have to pull them back off the plastic, stick them onto some other paper and fussy cut around them. And the candies, I managed to just die cut a little circle to cover up the back. You can see that through the front, but I'm okay with it. It just adds a little bit of extra decoration. This is such a fun page and I really enjoyed making it, even though it probably did take me way longer than I thought it would. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!